Hey Patriots, this is Aaron with Down with the Ship. Today we're going to be doing a practical comparison between two different mounts for the optics on your rifle. We're going to compare the UTG cantilever system compared to the American Defense cantilever. Both of these are 30 mil rings. And so we're going to go in there. Now, I'm not going to talk about the quality of the metal, the quality of this, the quality. I'm going to talk about the practical differences that may make you want to spend a little bit more money and go with the American Defense. The UTG rings are coming in around 50 bucks. The American Defense rings around 200 bucks. So, I mean, they both hold scopes. They both mount to the rifle. Is there a practical reason why that might tip your hand to go to the American Defense? So I have had some problems with the UTG rings. I'll be honest with that. I cannot guarantee them to be UTG problems though. So I'll let you in on the journey with me. These are in olive drab. That's because I painted them. I don't know that they offer an olive drab, but it matched my gun, so I painted them to match. This is a metal. Now, the first problem that I had with these is I did have some ring slippage the first time out with them. I did not use a torque wrench to mount my scope. Okay, so I can't guarantee where the problem was, but to remedy that, bought the Vortex branded torque wrench. It is in inch pounds. And that way we can eliminate the possibility of a over tighten or an under tighten issue. So this is a pretty cool wrench. It is a little bit expensive. It's 80 bucks. It feels like it weighs 80 bucks worth of weight in it. It comes with a huge assortment of Torx, Allens, and sockets, and even a blade, a flat blade for all your mounting needs. We've used it a couple times. Seems to be spot on, good wrench. So what brought up this comparison was I had this rifle at the range with this mount on it. My friend had his 20-inch build with a Primary Arms brand new optic on it, and it was mounted in this American Defense mount. We never could get closer than an 8-inch group at 25 yards. So we said, oh, well, there's a couple problems. We either have an optic problem, a ring problem, or a barrel problem. So what we decided to do quickly was pull my optics off, try to re-zero his rifle with my rings and my optics. Well, in the process of that, this mount mounts with 3 Torx bolts. Turns out the bit I was using apparently was super cheap. It bent and actually spiraled the Torx. And in the process of doing that, it stripped this center bolt out. Again, was this bolt hardened enough? I don't know. I know that I had tool damage and I ended up having to drill this out. So in the process of doing that, I've had a failure of a bolt here. I've only got 2 in it now. We did have an extra American Defense, so I went ahead and remounted my optics with the American Defense. So is there a potential there? Yeah. Is it a problem? Well, I don't know. We couldn't make a quick change and diagnose his rifle at the range, whereas the American Defense has the QD mounts. Super simple to put on your P-rail, and this is a no-tool install. So when the QD mounts are in their unlocked position, you'll see here you can push up on them and have access to the locking nut, and you can turn that by hand to get you a super tight, good fit on your rifle. So there's no chance of this. So whether this was a tool problem or a product problem, I don't know, but with this mount, this doesn't happen. So that's one thing that leads me in favor to the QD mount on the American Defense. Just the ease of being able to remove, take off, those types of things, and just have that option if you need it. We'll move on from there. Another huge difference between these two mounts is they're both cantilever, but if you look, I'll get them lined up here. The very end of the mount is level, and you'll notice the UTG does not have near the forward push as the American Defense. So why does that matter? Well, if you look here at my rifle, the way I've got it set up with the exact same American Defense mount, I'm all the way forward as far as I can get on my upper receiver. And so that's allowed me to push my optic forward, which on this particular optic, I needed that extra room so that I could get a good shoulder on the buttstock and get a good cheek weld. I was always fighting my cheek weld and my length of pull on this mount. Again, I was thinking it was the scope and or me. I just didn't have the flexibility I needed to get this scope mounted in the correct place. Another big difference between these two is, if you notice, we can line up the rings here, and you'll see that I have considerably more room in between the mounts, in between the rings, on the American Defense. Now, the UTG will host and hold that scope just fine, but I'll show you where the American Defense does have, in my opinion, a leg up on it. If I set this in, you'll notice there is absolutely zero fine-tune ability there in between the turrets and the rings. There's absolutely zero room for me to fine-tune the eye relief on this with that mount. Whereas if I put it with the American Defense, you'll see I have quite a bit of room to play. And so what happened is, with this mount on this gun, I was stuck to the increments on the top of my P-rail, and I couldn't fine-tune it. It was close enough counts. But with the American Defense, I can get it in, and then I can loosen my rings and slide this scope forward and back just a little bit to let me really fine-tune and get a solid sight picture with the exact same cheek weld and the exact same position on the rifle every time I get on it. But the big things are easy on, easy off for the American Defense. Much greater length on the offset. Huge advantage. And then the third one for me that makes this worth the $200 instead of the $50 is the fine-tunability in between the rings, where I can really get that optic lane in exactly where I want it to be. So for me, yeah, absolutely. Those are some practical things in between these two optics that would make me lean to spend my money here. So will I use the UTG? Oh, until I get it replaced. It'll just keep downgrading on rifles until it's gone. And as I keep upgrading my builds, we'll go with something similar to this American Defense that offers me a whole lot more fine-tune adjustment and less chance for error with taking it off and on. I highly suggest get something like this. Take the guesswork out of it. Man, put your gun together the way the manufacturer recommends, and you're going to have a lot more fun with it. All right, guys, hey, keep it safe. We'll see you on the range. And don't forget to like, subscribe, smash all those buttons that you're supposed to smash. Share this video with friends, and happy shooting, guys. We'll see you soon.